All right, we're back another Saturday. The Watchdogs on our Black Media Network. How's it going there, Mr. Hall?
Oh, shuck it, duck it. Everything good?
I tell you one
I'm
thing, it
good.
has been a interesting week. One, because early voting has ended, and two, because there was a podcast early in the week by an affiliate show, and we'll dive right into that in a moment. But let's start with that early voting. For our viewers, make sure that you are telling people three things. One, to check your voter registration status by going to the Secretary of State's website, and we'll do that before we close out today. Two, early voting has ended. So that means three, we better see some long lines on Tuesday for voting. Keep in mind that your employer is obligated by law to give you time to go vote. So if you have to take time away from your career, your job, your daytime duties to go vote, your employer is obligated to make that happen for you. So make sure you go vote Tuesday. Early voting is done. And so
Because
part
you
two,
know what they say.
yeah,
If you don't vote, you don't count.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So there's no need for you to complain.
That's right. So vote, vote, vote. As our frat brothers, we have a national program. If you are voteless people, you are hopeless people. And so we don't want to be hopeless. We want to be at the table. And the way to be at the table and avoid being on the menu is to be in that voting booth. So part two of this thing happened, Julius. We saw some things, and I'll let you talk more about it. There was a broadcast early in the week that presented some information that you know, I kind of disagree with the approach, but I'll let you talk more about it in the fact that we were looking at some campaign disclosure forms, right? And I think at the end of the day, we both have run campaigns, right? And if Donald Trump, we don't align with Donald Trump, we don't care for Donald Trump. Matter of fact, we think Trump is a chump. But if Donald Trump gave me 10,000 to run my campaign, I'm gonna take that money. It
That's
doesn't
correct.
mean that I'm gonna subscribe or owe Donald Trump some favors. But heck, green is green. And at the end of the day, when you're running a campaign and you got to pay your staff, you got to pay for his supplies, you got to pay for gas. Money is money.
That's correct. That's correct. Uh, when I ran for mayor out here, I had Republicans giving me money, but they understood that everything that they were saying was I was against most of what they were saying. I just wanted to build a better Poe Wentworth. And
Right,
when they offered to give me money, I told them, I said, you could give me anything you want, but it isn't going to sway how I feel or how I would govern.
right,
My agenda is my agenda. My platform was my platform. And that was how I was expected from the voters to govern. But they gave me money,
right,
and it wasn't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's on my campaign disclosure form. You can get money from anybody that's willing to give it to you, but you shouldn't be for sale.
right.
You can't win a campaign without having a great candidate, a great team, or ample enough money
That's right.
to compete. Because if you can't compete, you can't win.
That's right.
So if you got all three of those things, you're almost unbeatable. But if the district isn't heavily one sided, but if you got two out of those three things, you can beat anybody also.
Right,
One
right,
of those things, you got an uphill battle. Now, we've seen where we had one of those things in a couple of races won. In the city of Savannah races late in the past election for the city of Savannah. But people were just tired at that time of those people. And the message got out that there needed to be a change. You know, that's an anomaly, what
right,
happened. It usually doesn't happen that way. That was an anomaly. So you see what they're doing now. They're raising money now to combat that.
right,
Uh,
right,
a person's integrity should make it Put that back.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to it. I'm going back to it. I'm letting you finish your statement.
Yeah, a person's integrity should a person of integrity as a person of integrity, you should make it abundantly clear to the donor or donors that their
Well,
donation is not a receipt for purchasing the candidate. That's exactly right.
and I'll say yes and no because then I'll give you a great example. Going back to my example, if Trump gave me a donation, I'm not going to go out of my way to carve out time in my campaign to say, Trump, I don't owe you anything. What's going to happen is I'm going to deposit that check and I'm going to keep going. Now, let's say we got a issue like we had with the voting, and Trump calls me and say, "Hey, Robert, you're a senator. Da 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 da. We need you to do this." Hell no. But I'm not going to stop my campaign to go have a conversation with every donor to say, "I appreciate this check." And no, that's not how that works. If you give me money, regardless of you green, black, brown, dog, cat, or animal, I'm going to take that money, I'm going to deposit it, and I'm going to run my campaign. This should be what people got to get out of is this assumption, right? Just because certain people, and this is the city of Savannah, we've seen a lot of people accept funds and they've been to the need of those donors. Everybody is not like that. And we cannot assume that is the case. As a matter of fact, we have a guest right here who can share more about accepting donations and how that looks. And so, all right, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? What's going on?
Hey, hey,
I'm
hey.
We're doing
I'm uh
good.
I'm a little mobile today. Yeah, so wanted to jump on the show today just to talk about, what does campaign finance look like, campaign donations, and just to really clear the myth on some things that out in the community. There was a show earlier this week. I think y'all have already alluded to it, but I won't give the platform any credence or anything like that. But when it comes to campaign finance, and I think it's an important thing because when you are a candidate, right? Especially in my position, I'm elected state representative. So on my current disclosure, you're going to see a lot of lobbyist checks. You're going to see a lot of campaign contributions that come out of Atlanta. I just had a check show up just today from a public affairs group. They just show up, right? Nothing you can do to stop them. And so when we critique a certain candidate and try to attach it to their character, first of all, it's illegal to accept a contribution for some sort of promise or quid pro quo or some sort of vote. That's illegal. And so any candidate who does engage in the practice of that, then by state law, they could be convicted of a crime. So it is that's kind of
No more
how it
talk.
works. I saw the note that popped up that said a large campaign donation allows for access in the future. I wouldn't even say that because I have some large campaign donations that are from individuals, business people, from Fair Fight PAC, the Realtors PAC, many of those organizations that lobby in Atlanta. Doesn't guarantee that they got a spot to meet with you. They stand in the hallway. They can't even come on the floor of the House or the Senate. They have to stand in the hallway. And if you're moving through the process, you got committee meetings. All they can do is sometimes just grab you in the hallway and say, "Hey, can I talk to you later? Can I do this? Can I do that?" And they have to go through your assistant and schedule a meeting. The rules for lobbyists in the state are very strict as to how to have access to elected officials and how that process works. Now, some people may teeter on the line, some people may not. But when you have a candidate or you have somebody who's elected, yeah, I want the community to hold them accountable. But also at the same time, when it comes to campaign funds, how do you think the folks that do this get paid? How do you think the folks that are out in the community get paid if you can't raise money? You expect people to do it for free, but other campaigns raise a bunch of money and then their folks get paid and our folks get peanuts. So we want you to do it for free, but it's okay for the other folks that go out there and raise a bunch of money. And I just want people to be consistent in whatever they do. So if you want to pull my disclosure up, pull it up. But pull everybody else disclosure up too. Don't just pick one. Go get them all if you're going to do that, because then you look biased to one side. That your approach is only for certain individuals, not all individuals. Because there are a couple other candidates that are running local, statewide. They got disclosures. They talk about those disclosures because I went to go look. Donors on mine, on theirs, and on theirs, and on theirs. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And so when it comes to campaign finance and just these contributions, I think we have to have a hard conversation about that, because I'm not going to compromise myself to go to prison fooling with nobody else's money, right? I'm
Okay.
not going to prison for campaign finance, okay? Two people I don't play with, the IRS and campaign finance. I don't play
Right,
with them
right.
because I'm not going to jail for spending money illegally or the wrong way. That's a crime. I'm not finna go to the Chatham County bed and breakfast for nothing, right? So
Right.
I like my freedom. I like cutting my grass. I don't want to look out the window to see grass. So I'm not. If you ever hear about me doing something, it better be something grand, because I ain't going for nothing small. I ain't going for nothing tiny,
Right.
and
Right.
no few measly dollars.
I'm telling you, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
and the some of the things, they feel like those ones who are complaining the most never even gave, and you're wondering why, okay, I got to take this money so I can make things better for you. That's complaining.
Well, and that's the thing, when you run for state rep, state senator, right? They think you have a full-time staff. I share an assistant with 4 other people, right? So I don't have a full-time dedicated assistant, right? That's one person. I don't have anybody on the ground in Savannah to represent me in different meetings and different stuff like that. If I do get somebody to go, I have to pay those people to go on my behalf, right? I pay them as a legislative aid. I have to pay them to go out of my campaign fund. You talk about staying in Atlanta, your per diem is $178 a day. That includes 3 meals a day and your lodging in Atlanta. You better have some money, because you got to pay out of pocket to stay in Atlanta, okay? So that doesn't even cover enough. Your expense account is $7,000. When I got my office, I didn't even have a chair in it. I have a chair, a printer, letterhead, stationary, business cards. You got to pay for that out, that $7,000 that you get. So when people think it's this huge amassed amount of money, I'm going to tell everybody that's not it. It doesn't exist. So if you look at campaigns and truly how they run for state officials, man, you got to do everything for the rest of the year out of that. You look at different things that are sponsored and donated. It's either out of that person's campaign fund or out their personal pocket, because the state don't pay for it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, it's a shame. I know for a fact that you don't let nobody do nothing for free,
Right.
because I've tried plenty of times and you won't let me.
No, I
No,
will.
because
I will.
because I tell people all the time, that's the point of having a campaign. Because if you do it and create the expectation that people are just going to do it for free, no, people get paid to do this, and I see people get paid big money to run campaigns and do different things for campaigns. So you got to make sure that the people who are doing it for you, you don't treat them any different than the campaign in Atlanta that's being run and they getting paid. No, the same thing that the candidates in Atlanta get, the same thing the candidates in Savannah and Timbuktu should get the same thing, because we should set the example that it's okay. Now, here's the thing I said to that same group. If you don't want people to take money from certain people or certain groups, get your behind out there and raise some money. Host a fundraiser. Raise some money for them. But when you say that, oh, it's peanuts. You hear, oh, ain't nobody to say nothing. Yeah, it's all quiet. Because when I ran for state rep, I loaned my campaign $20,000. 20. Go pull that disclosure. You see, I still owe myself $2,000. That campaign had never paid me back all the money I loaned it. So what does that say? And then if you say, well, dang, he was donating the stuff. Why would he donate the stuff? I'd rather donate and sponsor stuff, because I'm going to be okay. I'm not hard up for money. So I'm going to make sure I can put money in the community to help my community, help people any way I can. And that's what should happen. But for the same group, they ain't helped donated when I had to hire that law firm when I was in that recount. They ain't donate no money after that. They said they was coming to the fundraiser to give me a check. I ain't never seen the check. They never mailed it. So it's all talk, man. So you can miss me with the hyperbole. If you want to go through disclosures, go through them, but go through everybody disclosures. Go through the candidates you support and disclosures. And I promise you, tell me what you see.
Yeah, you're going to see much of the same, because most of the people give to all of the candidates in hope of access. And there's nothing wrong with access. You do want to give a person who gave something to you a chance to speak with you.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And guess what? And if you did donate, I'm still going to speak with you. So it don't matter to me. If you call me
I can vouch for that.
some help, I'm still going to help you. If you don't donate, I'm still going to help you. It don't matter, because my campaign is not based off of some monetary type figure. It don't matter. If you donate, that's great. If you don't, I'm still going to help you with your issue. I'm still going to answer your call. I'm still going to do everything I was going to do, because that's what I was elected to do. Now, if folks donate to my campaign to help me win a campaign, I feel I'm the best person for the job. I'm going to sit on the phone and call people and ask them to donate to my campaign. Some will send a check, some won't. But guess what? It is what it is, but we're not going to stop, because we got to win. I'm not running to lose.
Exactly.
That's
don't raise money. That's a guaranteed loss. Yeah. Don't raise no money. You guaranteed to lose. That's exactly what it is.
And part of the thing was they was looking at what another candidate, the mayor of Savannah, was getting, opposed to the same candidates. I mean, the same donors giving to other campaigns, including yours. But what we're saying is that we
You're
you don't
comparing
have
apples and
a record of
right
doing things to the
malfeasance.
detriment of our community
Right.
like we think that somebody else has. So
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
could.
gonna get on here and throw names
Well,
like
well,
you
you
on here.
compare apples
So
and oranges. That's what that is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is that you have an opportunity to get money from the same people. If they want to give, they can give. That's all
Well,
it is.
and the difference is, if you look at my disclosure, you better look at all the other state representatives and state senators' disclosures as well, because I'm one vote. Right?
Mm.
One vote don't move legislation. Legislation in the constitutional majority is 91 votes.
Mhm.
So there got to be 90 other people that agree that this is the best thing to moving forward. Then you go across the hall, you got another majority. You got to be over 30 something votes over there, the constitutional majority in the Senate. In the House, if it's a constitutional amendment, you got to have 120 votes, which means you got to have Democrats on it. So one vote in the state House is not strong enough by itself. It is the body in totality that has the power. So people really got to understand that, think through that, and look at that. We don't have the ability to give out contracts. We don't do it. That's not what we do. That's not how the General Assembly works. And so when people speak to that, it really shows their ignorance and not understanding the process, nor understanding how the Georgia General Assembly actually works, because they've never served or sat there a day in their life. I have. I'm a current sitting member. I know how the General Assembly works. So for somebody to come and tell me something different, you've never been up here. You've never been to my office in Atlanta. I've never seen you in Atlanta. When have you come to lobby or to do whatever you've asked for? If you talk about you're working on better policy, I haven't seen you come lobby it in Atlanta, because lobbying for better policy is in Atlanta. It's not in Savannah. The state capital is in Atlanta. So if you're going to lobby for better policy, I hope to see everybody in Atlanta the second Monday in January when we convene again.
That's it. That's it. Well, look, brother, we ain't gonna keep you. We know you're out there.
Appreciate
campaigning.
y'all, brothers.
But hey,
You
hey,
know
tell Mondo and Cello I said hello. Back in Georgia Southern, Pyro was our brothers too. So we love Phi Beta Sigma.
Hey, man. Hey, we love the brothers Alpha Phi Alpha too, man.
Yeah.
Peace and grace to y'all.
All right, now y'all take
All
care.
right, thank you for coming.
But yeah, Julius. So talk about other campaign disclosure forms. Talk about Segway. This is working the way we expected. We do know of a candidate here in Savannah that might be illegally breaking the rules.
According to the paperwork, he got to be breaking the rules. If the paperwork that I saw with my own eyes saying that he received $15,000 from one person, or 7,000, I don't have it. Do you have that stuff?
No, let me see if I can pull it up real quick, and I'll let you know. But what we're talking about, y'all, we have a school board candidate, and what are the rules, Julius? If you can remember offhand, what are the rules? And I'll try to pull them for the local politics. But a school board candidate, in particular, school board president. So I'm gonna pull up Chatham County, Georgia. What is the regulation on what they can raise, and how does that look? Is what we're asking y'all.
You can
Let me
only
see.
you can raise as much as you want. You
Uh-huh.
just can't receive over $3,000 per person
Ah,
that contributes. And I'm looking at it now, and you got a 2020 campaigns. Somebody out of Atlanta gave $24,500 a wire transfer delivery message services. Is that what he paid? This is probably what he paid. He paid 20. Oh, this is his expenditures. This is his expenditures. That's
gotcha.
what I wasn't looking at. That's his expenditures. He
Okay,
spent $24,000 there. He spent $5,000 on some
but
text messages. He spent
even with
another.
that, even with that, why would you? And I think we had this conversation. Why would you spend that kind of money on a seat that doesn't even pay you that kind of income? And what that tells me, and I'm against this candidate 1,000%. A candidate who is trying to destroy our public school systems and upload charter school systems. A candidate who's trying to get rid of the superintendent, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're trying to buy the election. He has $192,000 for a school board seat that pays $17,000 a year. School board seat that pays $17,000 a year. Rebecca, we know the max contribution is $3,000 this year. Went up $200. It used to be $2,800, and it went up to $3,000. But these are his expenditures. I was looking at it wrong, but he got now this is contributions. Now you do have contributions here. This is his itemized contribution list. He got somebody that gave him $10,000. Mangerdorf on Myrtle Island, Bluffton, South Carolina. He got somebody that gave $15,000 from Hatcher Holdings.
And
These
this
are
is
illegal donations.
Well, first of all, is this out of Atlanta or?
They can give from anywhere in the world.
I get that, but
anywhere in
why
the
would
country.
you get involved with a municipal election? What that tells you is something behind that.
Okay, he got Dixon.
Oh yes,
Dickinson.
Roger Moss, Leonard, Pastor Smalls. This is Roger Moss. I'm very clear about that.
Oh, it's Roger Moss.
Yeah,
It's
I'm very clear about
we
that.
gonna be clear on who the candidate is. It's Roger Moss is getting these large campaign contributions, and he's spending it trying to buy the election so that he can get rid of Ann Levette.
Right.
That's their whole thing.
And we are against that 1,000 and 1,500,000%.
Okay, Robert, he got a donation here of $10,000 from somebody in Bluffton. He got $15,000 from somebody in Savannah, Hatcher Holdings. He got $10,000 from somebody else, William Dickinson in Savannah. He got $10,000 from Mark Smith, Savannah. He got $10,000 from 1405 Inc. in Savannah.
Julius, check out John's.
$10,000 from somebody in Richmond Hill. And he got another $10,000 from Dale Christ Jr. Now, all these are $10,000 donations to a school board candidate for a seat to win that pays $17,000. Really? Seriously, now, you want something bad.
Right.
And I'm going to be just straight up front. I have never seen a cabinet like Dr. Levette has. I would probably venture to say there's not a more diverse cabinet in the state of Georgia. It makes all the other cabinets look really just out of line. She has black people doing real big jobs. She has appointed black people to do real big jobs. The mayor ain't doing that. The county commission ain't doing that. So I don't know. It just befuddles me to think, what are these people thinking about when they try to attack this woman, and then you go along with Roger Moss. Roger Moss is just a black man in skin only. That's it.
Ooh, you went there. I'll say this. The only way to defeat money is to get every voter out there. I'll talk about those of us who have cars. Go pick somebody up. Go take grandma. Go take your church member. Go to his village. Load your car up. Get every single voter out there. And you got 2 other candidates for school board. But get people out there. Give them a ballot early. Get every single breathing voter in Chatham County out to vote. We are now at 6%. That's terrible. We've got to get voting up to at least 70%. We can defeat money. But if we sit by and wait for the next person, we cannot defeat money.
Yeah.
That's how Buddy Carter keeps winning.
Yeah. Buddy Carter can be
sorry.
Beat. It just takes a machine to beat him. It takes a machine to beat him because he has the money. But it takes a machine to beat Buddy Carter. Buddy Carter can be beaten
easily.
This whole district is primed to be taken. But you be having candidates that don't want to step. I mean, you don't have the right candidates to step up in that position to try to take that seat from it. And then when you get the right candidate, it's such a split amongst the Democrats that we can't get behind one person to get this thing done. When the primary is over, they all mad with each other, so they don't support each other. So you cannot defeat this man as long as they keep implementing division within our ranks, and that's what it is.
And I'm glad you said that. That's something we don't talk about a lot, but I want people to understand this. Get out your feelings. At the end of the day, your candidate may not win, But at the same time, that means you got to rally around the person who did win, because that person will likely advocate more for you around the planning table than the opponent. For example, I'm very clear about who I support with the school board. But if the other candidate wins, I will rally behind her 1,000%. Because that other joker who getting bought and sold and on his knees, I cannot dare allow him to go in the tear up a school system that I'm a product of. So you got to kind of get about your feelings and stop worrying about you and care more about the community.
Yeah, if you vote for Roger Moss, it's either one or two things. You don't mind selling out, or you just misinformed because you just see a black man. And that's all it is. He don't even know nothing. Have you been to the debates? He got two things counting against him when I've seen him in the 2 or 3 debate forums that I've seen him in. One, he doesn't know anything. All he says is, we can do better. That's all he know how to say. We can do better. What the hell is that? What kind of plan is we can do better? There is no plan with this man. He doesn't know a damn thing. They are putting him in. They want to put him in so that he can control where the money flows to. And they understand that since there's some fiscal responsibility going on now, when it wasn't before, now it is. So they want them people out because we're saying that's wasteful spending. Hey, we can't do that. Oh, no, we shouldn't be doing this either. They're saying this now, just like on city council with Keisha, Alicia, and Bernetta. They're challenging things and saying, oh, no, we can't do that. But the people want to shut them up. So it's a whole group of people, with the media included, trying to shut them down because they're challenging the status quo. Whenever you challenge the status quo, you're going to be kicked and fought on every level. So you just got to be ready.
And let me talk a little bit about this, if you and I want you to really talk about, like, expand on this. So we were watching last night. I think we were around watching the new electric the Hyundai plant coming to Bryan County, and you keep seeing these major officials, these deep pocketed individuals that run the chamber, that run the metropolitan, whatever. They run all of these major funding business agencies in the area, and they all look of one domination, white males. Mm-hmm. So what dawned on us, and I think the comment was made, was, well, how can you have a majority city that's African American, a council that's primarily African American, and you ain't got no African Americans in any authority of economic development power? I'm lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got some people that sit on that commission. You got a few that sits on that commission. I know Chester Ellis sits on that commission. But we're not represented. Look at the chamber. Look at the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce, every person that you saw at that meeting with the governor yesterday, Hubbard, Green, who else? Marinelli. It's 4 or 5 of them that was on there that appeared on the news clip last night. They're all stale old white men, and there is no black representation on this chamber in positions of power. But the city is supposed to be 50 or 60, 50 or 55% black. And nobody's challenging that, not even the black elected officials who are currently in office with the majority. Now, the minority representation on city council that's one of their beefs also. But the majority on that council, they don't care. They don't mind doing the bidding of the slave masters. That's what they do.
Let's see what John says. Savannah's wired to silo opportunity if you want it. Ha ha. That's about right. Which is it's interesting how, I look at systems, right, and how systems are designed and created, and a lot of times I think our older guard, or older elders tend to not realize these systems can be broken and should be broken. We like to do things because it's always been done. It's kind of how you end up with a city council like we have now. We have a leader, well, we have a rock that has fallen into and really leaned into this is how we've always done business, and I'm going to make a monarchy and do it the way I want to do it. So we add to the foolishness.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And Pastor Small said putting Roger Moss would be like putting Van Johnson on the school board. He's absolutely correct. He's absolutely correct. You're going to get everything sold to the highest bidder. All the people that have been gaining and making generational wealth for their families for the last 50, 60 years will continue to do that if Roger Moss is put on that school board. And the same thing is happening with Van. We thought that Van would come in and change things and move in a different direction, but it's not because he's with the status quo also. He talked about them like a dog to me, and he can never say that he didn't. He would never deal with these people, but he is every day. I mean, sure, you have to deal with the people who are building the buildings. You have to deal with the people that are doing things and making the city into what it is becoming. The city is looking great, but everybody is not benefiting. There are people still suffering. People are being left behind. Nobody is being able to sit at that table that he said he would put the leaf in. So it's a lot of things that this mayor has to answer to. So, and I know we off subject a little bit because we're getting everywhere, but when you have to bring everything in so everybody can understand the dynamics of what we're talking about.
Well, and I think it goes back to your formula, right? Where you say you have a good campaign, and this is how this good campaign shows up. So let me bring it full circle, and we're going to talk more about your formula. But what people got to realize is this: if if people are not willing to contribute at a basic grassroots level, and what I mean by that is a $5, $10 donation, then sure people are going to accept those big checks. I would. I don't blame anybody. The problem comes in when uh when the track record shows up. So for example, in this particular, we're going to use the mayor's office. Well, you got a track record. And I always tell people go back to when that person was the alderman. You had a track record to look at. And that track record showed you that Carver Village is going to be turned into a parking lot for that arena. People think I'm lying, but I said the same thing about Yamacraw. So Yamacraw is on the way out. Oh, and by the way, you allowed a young child to be killed. Dietrich, that's on your hands. And so I just, but you look at this state representative who has been very transparent, who has always really been on the forefront of being engaged and listening to the residents, supporting the residents. And so I say all that to say that we've got to do a better job of providing grassroots support for our candidates if we really and truly want to develop a community model of developing and supporting candidates, because candidates that have money can often have a better chance of winning. And if they have a better chance of winning and they support your values and they're going to advocate for you, that's what you want. Correct. But if you know what I'm saying? So I don't understand the logic behind, the alternative.
I want to make so we straighten something on what you just said just now.
Right.
That's on Dietrich's hands. The reason that he's saying that's on Dietrich's hands is because Dietrich, that's his is that district. That's his district, or is that?
Well, he should have spoke on it.
Yeah. Well, he could have if that's his district, then being in the majority on that council 6-3, they should have been able to say hold the housing authority director, hold her responsible for everything that's happening down there.
Right.
There was a picture posted the other day that showed that the building in Yamacraw has mold. What's the name of algae all on the side of the house?
Yeah.
I mean, on every house out there. Yeah. They don't pressure wash the place. They let it go into ruins.
Do
you see the commission? I mean, the council people besides Alicia, Keisha, and Bonetta complaining? No. The other side has the majority. They let it go down because they're part of the plan. They're going to have. Listen, they're building that. They done built that big civic center, and when they finish, it's going to be an awesome facility. It's going to be an awesome facility when they finish all the parking and everything. What do you think? They're going to need some hotels that's right by where people can darn near walk.
Yeah.
Caton Home,
Well,
Fraser Home, Yamacraw, all that is going to be there. That's why they will
well,
probably want to get rid of the flyover so they can go all the way down.
well. Check this out. If you go down there now, and I'm down that area frequently because, I like downtown Savannah. I love to be down there. It's beautiful. But if you go on the edge, if you go between, if you know where the bus terminal is, and you know where Yamacraw is, right between there, they're building 2 high rises of what I don't know. But Yamacraw, I said this years ago. Yamacraw was on the way out anyway, and the reason I'm so upset with him is for him to get on live TV when he did with whoever he was with, and say, "Well, we're waiting on a report." You had the report. You had the Metropolitan Planning Commission. You had the mayor's office. You had the housing authority. You had whoever. You already knew what was going on. So, well, just be real. Have the balls to say we're going to tear it down. That's what I would rather you do.
Exactly.
But don't be a little coward wimp and go hide behind the mess and have low income folks and people who have less than out here having hope. That to me is a coward ass move.
He's not. And I like Dietrich, but Dietrich is not smart enough to tell you the things that he's told the press. Those are talking points that Van Johnson gave him. I'm sure of that. He had to have gotten these talking points from somebody, and I believe it probably was the mayor, because the mayor is great on talking points. The chamber gets more than $10 million. That gives the good old boys a $10 million head start annually. That is absolutely correct. I think they get more than that now. It's 11 or 12. They're getting that every year. And they're feeding these people with $500,000 salaries to promote the city. The city don't need no damn promoting of that level. They don't. It doesn't. The city is self-promoting. Everybody in the world know where Savannah at now. I mean, you done start something that you can't stop now because you got to pay these people or they're going to get you. They probably want to get me and Robert because we talk about it,
Well, he already probably found somebody to run against me with, but this is what I challenge every alder person to do.
Hold on. That was a great one.
John, I got it. Calm down.
Ask Dietrich where his sub council is. That is great. He did promise a sub council of community people that will be able to sit to the table and then instruct the him and other council people on how they should govern.
I'm gonna show it to you. Let me find that picture. I'll show it to you, John. Hold on. Where is it? Yeah. Did you take it down? Where is it? The one where they were sitting on Kessler's lap.
Oh yeah, that was the sub council. I don't know whether that's still.
That's the sub council. Yeah,
I think I took that one down.
But and honestly, and let me say this, y'all. I'm the first person to go to Plant Riverside. I enjoy it. I love it. But there is a limit to giving a person just free reign of real estate. I love it. It's a great place. I think it's a great part for the city. But you don't sell a certain community out, and you don't disenfranchise a certain community, and you don't destroy Frogtown and their community. And then on the other side, around the corner, you just dishing out dollars. That's not how that works. So we're not. I know we're not downgrading or saying certain things are bad. But what we are saying is let's be equal here. Let's at least level the playing field, because the history of our community tells us that black folk been disenfranchised for years. Hence that flyover you were talking about. But I won't go there.
Yeah. It's a shame on what we have to fight every day. There's a little debate within my circle about who we should support and who we what candidates that we should bring forth because of being betrayed by Dietrich and Linda. If you go back and look at Alicia Miller Blakely show from 3 years ago with Dietrich and Linda and Alicia on it, every Tuesday night they were fighting for something. They were fighting for the people and talking about these people who are status quo, who are doing us a disservice within our community. And they promised to fight against it. This is what got them elected to office. Off of that show, doing things, Facebook Live and social media, people recognizing that they were there to fight. But you can't fool these people no more because you're not fighting. We don't care nothing about a dumpster at 36 and Waters. We don't care nothing about you getting some free Happy Meals. We don't care nothing about you going under the bridge once a month, once every winter, and giving out some blankets. That's not governing. That's your community service.
Right. That's what you need to be doing.
Hell, they think they fooling. They ain't fooling nobody, and you're gonna pay for it. You're gonna pay for lying to us. Yeah.
Oh, Lord, bless her heart. Bless her little heart.
Every time you see her, yeah. Girl,
No, what
down.
got me with them is when they were in the council chambers after Earth, Wind, and Fire, and they're in the council chambers as if it was as it was Frozen Paradise. I was like, y'all have zero sense of anything. Y'all don't know what the hell you're doing. The four of them are just ignorant as ignorant can be. A doorknob is smarter than them four.
They thought they was in Frozen Paradise.
They thought it was in Frozen Paradise.
I'm looking for that picture real quick. Go ahead, keep talking.
I'm just sitting here like, y'all. Here's the thing, and and this isn't for everybody, so it's not a blanket statement. If you have an aspiration to run for a certain office, right? And that's why I like Orlando, I like Derek, I like a number of people, Sonia Jackson, a number of them, Lester, I like them because they understand governance, they understand policy, understand how to navigate the system. But you got certain folk who will get out here, run for office, and have no clue of how agendas work, how to get policy through a committee. They honestly don't know how the committee works, right? So you got folks out here who think, and you can tell you watch them at meetings and you're like, you talking about some frivolous stuff. In particular, I hate to bring it up, but Linda get out there and just start asking questions. I'm like, is that even germane to the topic? What are you talking about? You talking about, for example, how many trash cans we got? What the hell that got to do with poverty? You got
all this woman, all her and Dietrich now to do on city council is vote and say point of order. That's all they know how to do. They don't read the stuff to see what's really happening, to see whether it's a detriment to the community or whether it benefits it. They don't know anything about studying so that they can be great council people. They think that they'll just get there. The mayor tell them which way to vote, which I'm sure he does because they vote with him every time. There's absolutely no way in hell that you are along with a person 100% of the time. 100% of the time on things concerning your community. 100% of the time.
But here's my favorite of all. And I tell people, I ain't the smartest cookie in the batch. I ain't. But baby, I got a few chips in my chocolate. So I don't even know if that made sense, but it was funny to me. But anyway, so you gonna tell me, and this is directly to some of the people, not the whole MLK committee, but I'm coming for some of you all who tried to tell me I was wrong. Why would you sit there and allow these people to bamboozle you to have a whole MLK parade in April? But yet, we're giving full-fledged and authority and some concessions to make sure St. Patrick's happen. No big deal about, I'm not doing us versus them. I'm not doing that. But how stupid can you be to believe that? And I had one person say, well, you weren't in the meeting. That's not, the mayor don't support that. I said, BS. I said, I bet you won't have no. You don't know what you're talking about. Has there been a parade yet?
Yeah.
But you got certain council people that sit there and supported that shenanigans. Foolishness. Come on, folks. How many times you gonna have the wool pulled over your eyes? And then I go back to this young child that was killed. Why wasn't every single council member? This is my thing. I'm a little angry about this. With all these killings going on, you have yet. I want to see y'all. This is a challenge to council and this mayor. I want to see a vote of confidence on this police chief. I want to see that in the next meeting. I want to see the police chiefs come in here with a real. What is your strategy to end this foolishness? I want to see that. I want to see you all sitting with these families, looking at the hurt in their faces, looking at mothers cry. I want you all to sit down and listen to the people instead of making stupid decisions that are just about tourism. Sit down with these people. It was so refreshing to me to see Alicia and Keisha standing with these moms, holding them up, listening to their pain. Do that, for instance. That's leadership. But what you do is you go back in the chambers and you pat each other on the back and lick each other's balls. I'm not here for that no more. Do some real leadership.
Damn. Um, oh, let me get to another subject here.
I'm from Menard.
Rebecca Rose, you are absolutely correct. They did nothing for the service industry workers, and when they could have attached a pay raise for them to this 2% increase. And we got to make sure that our legislators, after this election, understands that we don't want this if they're not going to do the right thing. Um, uh, one of the councilmen, I think Councilman, he on there now, Councilman Rufus Bright, he had a conversation with me the other day. He asked me, well, if the city of Savannah can raise the motel sales tax here, he said, couldn't we do it in Port Wentworth? And I told him, I said, I see no reason why y'all shouldn't. And he said he was going to check into that. So that's Councilman Rufus Bright looking out for the people of Port Wentworth. If Savannah can do it, I guess Port Wentworth and the other surrounding cities can do it also. See, because you ain't got to worry about Pula doing it. Pula don't have no hotels. Those hotels are in Savannah. Those hotels that you think are in Pula, that's really Savannah. The Savannah sits in the middle of Pula. Savannah sits in the middle of Port Wentworth out here. Got a whole industrial complex in Port Wentworth. They got a whole airport and everything in Pula. That's Savannah. So those hotels are all under Savannah's rule, not Pula's rule.
Wow.
So all those hotels are Savannah, except
deep.
for the new ones they're building now. That's really
deep.
in Pula. Yeah.
Wow.
But that could be attached, and it needs to be some conditions to this 2%. And those state legislators, they need to sit down with those people that have those concerns and find out what they want. And if they don't, but Van don't want to bring these people to the table and talk about it so they can say, okay, this is what we'll lobby for. Then they need to talk to that state body. That state body can go and talk to the majority on council and tell them, okay, we'll go for it if you do these things.
Well, yeah,
because they're operating in silos still. Nobody wants to come to the table because everybody's mad at each other.
That's it.
But you mad at the wrong people when you talk about you mad at the minority, because the minority with Keisha, Alicia, and Bernetta, they're fighting for you. There's no reason for you to fight against them. How could I don't have nowhere to stay, and you trying to get me someplace to stay for the night, and this man is steady gentrifying my area where all the houses that I could afford at one time, I can't afford no more. And I'm fighting against you who are trying to help me, but I'm voting for the person who is putting me out. Every time I go back and I vote for this person. No, that's stopping now.
And let's close the loop on that. So we started talking about campaign finance. What we mean, so you got a chance to hear when we give money to good candidates, and we do when candidates are reaching out, and I'll be doing it very soon, asking for the $5, asking for the $10. Give. It doesn't have to be but one time, but if you want to give $100, break that $100 into 5 payments. But we've got to start funding strong candidates that advocate for our values. If not, you get the alternative, and then you have catastrophes and regentrifications, and Yamacraw villages getting shut down, and Carver villages turned to into parking lots. We got to start doing better at funding our candidates, because the opposite is them being funded by big name donors who want favors, and those favors turn into problems. But Julius, let's go to Secretary of State's. I'm going to go to the website for the Secretary of State so people can see how do you pull these particular disclosure forms or what have you. So I'm going to go to the page. Not wants to work. Okay. Can we? It didn't work out. Let me see. Let me try that again. All right. See if we can go to the Secretary of State page, and here we go. We're going to share that. All right. There we go. So for those of you all who want this information, you go to Georgia Secretary of State page, and then you want to look for elections. And this is where you can find all of the information around elections. So the division, where you get all the compliance, the results, how to and where to vote, register to vote, check voter registration. Let's start there, Julius. So this is where you go to check your voter registration. You want to log in and see if you are still registered, right? If you want to register, you can register online. So for this upcoming election, you're probably too late. For the November election, you probably are not. And by the way, you also want to know that there may be a runoff. So get ready for that runoff that will be coming very, very soon. What's some other things we should cover, Julius, while we're here on this page? Maybe how and where to vote?
Yeah, how and where to vote, and make sure that your registration is up to date. Because if you're not, and you go there, that's why I vote early. Because if you're gonna tell me that I'm not on the rolls, then I got time to correct it. They can give you a provisional ballot probably on Tuesday, but
And
I don't trust that.
what's a provisional ballot?
If you have a problem with not being on the rolls, or if there's some type of glitch or something happened, they can give you the paper ballot where you can um, turn it in at the vote at the elections office.
Okay.
But that's only if there's a problem, and you don't want to go through that process anyway because your vote might not be counted. I make sure mine is counted every time because I vote on day one every time. The earliest that I can vote, I go. I don't like lines. I got too much to do. I'm too busy, so I don't want to ever have to go through that.
Right. So the other important is two more pages, and then we're going to be out of here. Voter registration calendar, election calendars, and these are the dates. So we're in 2022. All of this stuff is online. The Georgia Secretary of State's page under the elections tab. So it tells you all of the dates, the special runoffs. All of this stuff is important. Print this stuff out, put it on your refrigerator, take it to church, make sure everybody knows the information is all right here.
And, if there's a runoff, you only got 28 days to the next election. 28 days, and it's going to be another election. So
Yes.
you got to be ready for that. If that 28 days after Tuesday in June, it's going to be another election. So you have to be ready for that.
And the other page, results is, you can get live results on Tuesday night. That was one of my favorite pages of about a couple of years ago. But the other one I want to show y'all is if ever questions, you have FAQs, frequently asked questions. So general frequently asked questions, how do you vote if you have a disability, campaigns, anything you want, election security, all the FAQs are here. And as I kind of close out this page, I'll say this. If my 95-year-old father can get out there and walk to a voting booth and vote in person, then you can too.
That's
so
correct.
I don't want to hear excuses.
That's right. That's right.
Excuses are tools of incompetence, and we ain't incompetent people.
And the problem is people get too comfortable. They get too complacent and content with what they have and what they do. You got a lot of people that don't vote. I talked to a guy the other day who I was putting up some signs, some yard signs for a candidate, and I gave him. I know the old man voted, but the younger guy, he was about 50, and was a guy about 75. The 75-year-old votes. I know him on Rosenau Hill. The guy, I tried to give him a piece of literature. He said, "I don't vote." You know, and I just looked at. There was nothing that I could even say to him. I didn't have time anyway, because he was talking to a person that is an advocate for voting. So I was hoping that this gentleman was talking to him about voting. But you got a lot of people that don't vote because you don't feel the pain until somebody got their foot on your neck. You know, you don't feel that pain until that knee's in your back and you can't get up. Then you want to complain. But like I said, if you don't vote, you don't count. You don't matter. You should never complain about nothing that's going on because you can change everything with your vote. And sometimes we get it wrong. Sometimes we get it wrong. We got Dietrich wrong. We got Linda wrong. We got Purdy wrong. You know, sometimes we get it wrong. We knew we was getting Van wrong, but then we voted for Van just to get rid of Eddie. We knew Van would betray us. We had we didn't, but we never thought that the other three, Linda, Dietrich, and Purdy would. We knew Van would. And I worked with him knowing that he would. But we weren't worried about him because we knew that we would have 6, not 5. We would have 6 to do the right thing. But he beat us. He outthought us, I guess.
But and we got to take care of our sister in Athens, Georgia. If you are in Athens, Georgia, you vote for Tiffany Taylor. If you're in District 3 for
That's
County
correct.
Commission, Tiffany. And let me tell you about Tiffany and people like Tiffany. Tiffany grew up from a family that didn't have a whole lot, but they made a lot happen from a little. Those are the type of people you want to put in office. You put people in office who come from backgrounds of being linked in, rooted to, and connected to the community in ways that they don't detach. See, when you have somebody transplanted from one community to another and are in the idea of, I just want the notoriety, that's a different type of candidate. But someone is rooted in a community, understands the community, went to church in that community as a child and grew up, and really, really has the best interest at heart for that community, that's a different type of candidate. And that's typically what I look for when I'm voting. And it's not right all the time. But when somebody can be held accountable from their neighborhood, that's a different kind of conversation than somebody who's just here just to have a title.
And you want independent thinking people also. You just got to have some independent thinking people who are going to say, how is this going to benefit the people that voted for me?
Right.
How is this going to hurt them, or how is this going to help them? And where is it in this whole body of governing do we help the little people? Do we help the underserved or the people who have never had a chance to sit at the table?
That's
How
right.
do we help them? How do we bring up a people who've never been up? How do we lift them up? And when you get people that think like that and can think independently, then they'll do the right thing. They'll do the right thing. No matter what that person that's in the chair is saying, they'll do the right thing. They'll vote every time. That's why you got 3 people on that council that will do the right thing, because they care about what they can do for somebody else, not what they can do for themselves. Alicia, Keisha, and Bernetta, those older women are doing what they're supposed to do.
And before we go, let me speak on Keisha Gibson Carter, because I've heard people have that thing they'll say. Let me tell you something. When you know you're doing right, when you know you're advocating, and people intentionally do things that hurt you, you get tired of being hurt. And so stop speaking on something you don't speak about. You don't know what you're talking about. That lady has been out there fighting and has been disenfranchised and disrespected, and she's tired. And so when you're tired and you're frustrated and you know you're doing the right thing, things happen. So know what you're talking about, people, before you're talking about it, because I've watched that woman fight, and I watched her go through hell, and she stands up and she's resilient. So don't talk about a resilient woman. She's tired of just being disenfranchised, and I think sometimes people get that wrong. So, Judas, I guess we're going to close out.
Yeah, we just wanted to set the record straight, and we didn't try to make this about the city of Savannah. We didn't try to make this about any individual.
What about campaign finance reform?
Yeah. It's about campaign finance reform. It's about getting out and vote. It's about just being engaged in your community. Don't wait for something to happen to you.
Be proactive.
Make something happen. Don't be reactive. Like
proactive.
Mr. Barbie said, be proactive.
Exactly.
And so he just walked in. The mayor pro tem just walked in. So
let him come tell the people hello.
Oh Lord, he done been out working all day.
Yeah.
You want to say hello, Mayor Pro Tem?
Where you at? Hey, I may look a little dirty, but I clean up pretty good.
All right, we'll see y'all next week. Next Saturday at noon, same time, same place. And so, Julius, if you'll take us out, I don't know what my computer doing.
Yeah, I got it. Good evening, everybody. Tune in 6 o'clock. Pastor Smalls, Tell It Like It Is, Unity Action Political Committee station. And he'll be broadcasting from here pretty soon on this platform. And 4 o'clock, we got Speak Freely, I believe. And 10 o'clock tonight, y'all know what time it is.
A mess.
America at the Dawgs. Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me. So y'all just tune in. All the shows right here. And tomorrow we got a bunch of shows. There'll probably be a bunch of replays that are from the week shows, the best shows all week. We'll play them on Sunday until we get our Sunday lined up right. We got 5 shows that'll be coming on Sunday after a while. Okay. Oh, Better Savannah on Thursday. Robert will be filling in for John for a whole month.
Right,
so,
right.
Y'all make sure y'all go to Better Savannah and watch them too. Robert will be filling in for John McMasters for a whole month.
Right.
But tune in, share, and we'll see you later on tonight. America at the Dock. I might make an appearance tonight. All right.
I like that.